All right, let's get right into it. If you've got a Nissan and you've pulled that dreaded code P0105, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down what this code means, what's actually causing it, and most importantly, how you can get it fixed.
Ah, yes, the check engine light. That little glowing symbol on your dash that has a special talent for ruining a perfectly good day. It's your car's way of crying for help. And that P0105 code, well, that's our first big clue to figuring out what's wrong.
But hey, don't worry, this isn't some unsolvable mystery. We're going to tackle this together, step by step. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly what's going on and what you need to do about it. So, when your car throws a code like this, what is it actually trying to tell you? Let's translate this from car speak into plain English.
Okay, deep breath. P0105 basically means there's a circuit malfunction with the absolute pressure sensor. In simple terms, your car's main computer is getting a signal from this sensor that just doesn't make sense. The voltage is either way too high or way too low, and the computer is flagging it as an error. It's like a bad phone connection between two really important parts of your engine.
And speaking of those two parts, let's meet our key players. First, you've got the absolute pressure sensor itself. Its whole job is to keep an eye on pressure. Then you have the powertrain control module, or PCM. Just think of this as the brain of your car. The PCM needs good, clean data from that sensor to make the engine run smoothly. When the data gets garbled, bam, you get the P0105 code.
All right, so we know there's a communication problem. The big question is, why? Well, it almost always boils down to one of these four suspects.
And here's the roadmap for our investigation. This little table lays it all out for us. We've got four possible causes, and they range from something as simple as a bad wire to a faulty part. So let's dig into each one, starting with the most likely offender. Honestly, more often than not, the problem is just the wiring. You could have a wire that's frayed, broken, or maybe it's touching something it shouldn't be. This messes up the signal going from the sensor to the computer. So before you even think about buying expensive parts, you have to check the pathways connecting them first. Now this is another wiring problem, but it's a little more specific. The signal wire might be shorting out to something called VREF, which is just a steady reference voltage. This kind of thing loves to happen right at the plastic connectors, so you want to look really closely for any corrosion, that green crusty stuff, or maybe a pin that's bent or broken. Of course, sometimes the most obvious answer is the right one. The wiring could be perfect, but the sensor itself has just given up. These parts don't last forever, and it might just be its time to be replaced. And here's our last resort. This is the least common cause, but it's definitely a possibility. If you've checked all the wiring, you've inspected the connectors, and you've even tried a new sensor, and the code still won't go away, then the problem might just be the car's computer itself. This is the biggest job, which is exactly why we save it for the very last thing to check. So now that we know what could be wrong, let's put together a smart plan of attack. And the golden rule here is to start with the easy, cheap stuff and work your way up to the more complicated fixes. And here it is, your step-by-step guide. First, get your eyes on all the wiring connected to that sensor. Look for anything that seems obviously wrong. A crack, a burn, anything. Second, unplug the connectors and give them a good look. Are they clean? Are the pins straight? Third, if all that wiring looks good, the sensor itself is your next suspect. And finally, only after you've ruled everything else out do you start thinking about the PCM. Look, I get it. It's so tempting to just put a piece of tape over that check engine light and pretend it's not there, especially if the car feels okay. But trust me, with a code like P0105, that's a really bad idea. This says it all, really. That sensor's information is super important for your engine's health. If you ignore this, you're looking at bad gas mileage, a rough idle, and you could be setting yourself up for much bigger and way more expensive problems down the line. So, there you have it. You've got the knowledge now. You know what P0105 is, you know what causes it, and you have a logical plan to fix it. The only question left is, what's your next step going to be?